Okay, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
First question,
Mm-hmm.
Caroline. What do you think happens after we die?
What, we start with that question?
Yeah, directly.
I think a much more important question is to know who we are, and then that might answer or give more hints towards what happens after life, because a lot of people think we are who we call ourselves in society, like, oh, I'm Caroline and I live in this body, right? But this body is not really me. This identity has been given to me. Is that really the essence of who I am? And if we dive deeper into, okay, who do I really am? Who am I? Who am I really? Then we might come to a conclusion that we're not really that much associated with our body, because it's just something we have adopted on this planet Earth in this experience. And once this body dies, then what do you think happens with the spirit that you are? So maybe that's something to contemplate.
Well, let's jump into the next question, which would be, when do you feel most connected to something greater than yourself? In which moments?
What moments? Well, I feel like I've had a lot of moments throughout my life, and during childhood it's been possibly, in nature and connection with people, but those moments where you really feel the divine are when you have more quietness, like stillness in life, and feel that connection in however way you might feel it best. And nature has always helped me calm down, and then I would connect with my family a lot in our garden and just understand and feel more of what life can really have in store for us, or how the divine is more present in what we think it is. And I used to not know the name divine, right? I wouldn't know the term, but as a child I did feel something out there, and I think that's how I would describe it.
Well, okay. What gives your life...
Well, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Cutting that. Great.
What is he eating?
That's not, it's a toy.
Okay, it's a toy. It's fine.
Yeah. So what are we doing with this?
It's okay. I think it's fine.
Anyways, great answer. So thank you for that. I'm not the best interviewer. Okay, what gives your life the most meaning and purpose?
To do something for something that is greater than myself, and as the whole of why we're here as a human existence. Like, I've always asked myself, why are we humans here on Earth, and what's the meaning behind all of it? And the more I started exploring that, the more I felt like I had a great mission here on Earth, is to, help bring us as a humanity forward and bring peace to everyday life and to this world and to people and people's lives, to achieve what we've come here to do. Yeah, there's a lot in that, but I'm going to keep it to that for now.
That sounds amazing. There's another question that's a bit deeper.
Right.
If you could ask God or the universe one question and get an immediate answer, what would it be?
If I would ask God one question and get an immediate answer. Well, I would want to know if we will make it as humanity, but that's something that we'll be looking into the future. But then, is time real? Is it timeless? But I don't think it's decided yet. And I would just love to know if we are going to achieve our mission here on Earth. But I think that is something we're not meant to know, because otherwise we wouldn't work as hard to get to that greatness and become great as a whole, as humanity, as a species. So it's a hard question to answer. I don't know what I would ask, actually. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Maybe the community can ask in the comments.
Yeah. What would you ask? I've had a lot of questions throughout my life, but anyways.
Okay, jumping into the next question. What experience in your life felt the most spiritual or transformative?
initiation in the Modern Mystery School is something that is beyond what I can say, because it's like you are elevated into a different version of yourself. You're so much more, you carry so much more light. It's like, and then the actual ceremonial process and what you carry after that and the changes that come with that. But the moment another god or goddess stands in front of you and does service to you, and this huge service of initiation is just something that really changes, it shifts you. So yeah, I'd say that that was the most spiritual experience I've had. Yeah.
That's amazing. And there's a question I think many people would want to find an answer for. How do you find peace during difficult times?
Sometimes I'd love to know this answer too, you know. It's not that easy, and this mission we're on, this thing we call life, is not easy. So I think we can all learn to let go of what we think we have to accomplish and what society has put out, and sometimes come back to what is really important to us, and even allow ourselves to slow down whilst finding the clarity on where we really want to go. And when you feel more inclined with who you are, and it always comes back down to who we are, like understanding ourselves, know thyself. The more you know that, the more you know where you're going, and the more you feel at peace and at ease with your path, because you're on the right path. Because if you're not on the right path and you're just hustling through life trying to survive, it feels hard. Because not only is it exhausting, but you also feel like you're not in alignment with what you're really meant to be doing here. So yeah, that's what I would say. Meditate.
Thank you very much for this answer. Do you believe everything happens for a reason, or do we create our own meaning?
Ha. I think that's a big debate that people have. I think that there are two different poles. Sometimes, a lot of things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, cause and effect, right? Like we learn through our mistakes. Some mistakes we have to have, some detours we have to have in life to come to a certain place where we have this learning. Like we have certain experiences that we're here to have, we're meant to learn and go through and all that. But there's also two different poles. There's the good and there's the bad, and sometimes the battle is there, and depending on what we decide, we have the power to decide, so we can make choices. And not everything in life is because life wanted it to be this way. It's because you have created a certain path. So you have the power to go out there and do the things you want to do. So I wouldn't neglect that. I would say it's a yes and. A yes and yes and no.
Good. Next question is...
Don't mind the dog. I think it's...
We just filmed the dog.
Okay, he's cute.
Okay, what would you tell someone who's just beginning their spiritual journey?
Oh, you have so much in front of you. And yeah, it's gonna be tough, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. And you know what? It's tough, but it has so much beauty and joy on the other side. And it's always worth it. You will never go out there and try something, and even if you fail, you will never regret doing the thing. You'll never regret evolving, learning something, trying something new, going out there and, you know, getting to know yourself and what life really has to offer. Because you're here now, might as well do the best out of it. Make the best out of this life that you have and that you've been granted. So go for it. Fuck it. Do whatever. What makes you happy.
If you knew you only had 1 year to live, what would change about how you live?
I would be way more reckless. I do still, you know, think about what other people think about me, and then take life slowly sometimes, because I think more long term, or I don't know. It's a hard question. Like, but I would move in a way different manner. I think we all would take different actions, and it would take a lot of courage, but some fears would just be gone, because why would we fear something if we only have a year left to live? So I think we all have this battle of letting go of certain fears and judgments and all of that crap. So I think it would be easier to just like go and do the thing you really want to do. Yeah, I'm definitely not perfect. Like, I'm working towards that, but hell, it's a journey. So yeah.
And the last question is, what's one thing you wish everyone understood about spirituality?
Spirituality is not doing the next course. It's not understanding the next thing, or having this certification, or having that knowledge, or it's being in connection. It's sometimes having an empty cup and looking at things from a new perspective, feeling more than thinking. Spirituality for some people has become like a science, or I'm going to meditate and everything's going to be attracted into my life. That's another big one. That's a big trap I feel a lot of people have fallen into in the last years or so, is that we still have to do. Like, you won't just get into the right frequency and attract your dream life. I mean, yes, it plays a role, but you also have to take the right action so that the frequency can work through you. And so staying grounded while still being connected. Yeah, I think there's a few elements in there, and I could have said this more clearly, but maybe you've gotten what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Any last words for the viewers?
Okay, well, I might say this, but I'm also saying this to myself, is not to be too hard to ourselves in the process. We tend to be our own biggest obstacle, judge, destroyer. Like, all of those things that go on in our minds, like, really affect us first. If they do affect anyone else. I mean, we all are responsible for our own state and joy in life. We can't be dependent on other people. And yeah, I just had something in mind, but I forgot, because there's a cute dog. The last one, he just farted.
Yeah, he did.
Oh well. What was the question? Last thing I would say?
To the viewers.
I went somewhere, and now I'm here. And that's what I said. And so, yeah, enjoy the ride, and know that you have it all in you, and don't be too hard on yourself. Enjoy. Sorry, I'm wiggling the camera with my foot.